How to analyze monthly charts in Forex trading. Welcome everyone, my name is Nexus, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to analyze monthly charts in Forex trading. Let's get started. So we have three outcomes we need to achieve as part of our analysis on the monthly charts. The first is we need to determine what the next bar is going to be. So is it going to be up, down, or we don't know. We just need to determine one. The next thing we need to try and determine is what is the likely entry going to be based on point one. So if we are thinking it's going to go up or be bullish, then where's the likely entry going to be? The third and final thing we need to determine is what's the likely range. So once the next bar opens, what is the likely range of that bar so we can determine our risk and reward. Okay, so a little disclaimer here. And that is that in order to determine the next bar on the monthly chart, you're going to need experience and technical skill. So you need the two. Experience is kind of 80% of it, and the technical is 20%, give or take. In this video, I'm just going to focus on the technical side of things. But what I do want to mention is that part of your experience will ultimately tell you how price will behave, how price responds to events, how price responds to news, how price responds to seasonality, how price responds to the dollar, or anything else. So that information will already exist. Let's use an example to focus in on the technical aspect using TradingView. So let's pick a instrument. Let's go for Euro JPY. Okay, and we have a monthly chart right here. Select the monthly. Okay, so in order to show you this, I need to use the replay. So I'm going to take away the current month, which is the current active month. And I want you to assume that it is the end of the month, so it's the end of March. And what we're trying to do is determine what April is going to do. So we need to determine three things, like I said. So the first thing we need to determine is it going to be an up, down, or we don't know bar? To do that, we just need to focus in on the last 5 candles. So candle number 1 here, candle number 2, candle number 3, candle number 4, and candle number 5. Now these 5 candles will tell you potentially what the next bar is going to do. So if I take the low and the high, well, the trend is up. So if the trend is up, the probability is the next candle will be up. So that's the higher probability. Now it is possible for that candle to close down, but what we're trying to determine here is, will the next candle at the very least, attack the high of that bar? So the current bar, which is the bar, or the last bar we're looking at, will the next bar attack this high, or will the next bar attack the low? Now, just based on the trend alone, we can say it's likely to attack the high. So the first answer to the first question is our expectation is an up bar. What I'm going to do is potentially insert another tool that I use, which I use to determine the trend. So you should be able to see it right now. And all I need to know is what is the monthly doing for that current security. So the last 2, 3 squares. And that automatically tells me the trend and tells me what the likely next candle will do. So those are two ways I can do this. I can do this manually, just using the candles, the last 5 candles, or I can use my tool, which is called Trade Guider. I just run a scan and it tells me what the trend is. So we've determined the first question. Now let's determine the second one. What is the likely entry? So all we need for this is look at the last 3 candles, and we can use the high, the low, the open and the close as levels of support. So these will be potential levels that price can come to. So come to us. We're going to wait for price, wait for our bus, and then we're going to get on that bus using whatever trigger or strategy that we have. This video isn't going to go into the trigger or the strategy in terms of entry, but what I'm just trying to explain is what levels are we monitoring to determine an entry. So we take the last 3, and this will depend on the size of the candle. So here we have candles that are very narrow. So a lot of the levels will there'll be a lot of confluence. So I don't need that many lines. So grab this tool right here and plot the high. Okay, so that high of this candle is higher than the open, well, higher than the close. So I don't need that high. I'll just take the close there. I'll take the low right here. I'll take the low there as well. I'm going to take the low there, the open right there, and I'm going to take the high right there. Okay, I'm not going to draw any more lines because of a couple of things. First, this down bar is this line right here corresponds to this high right here, so I don't need another line. This low, if I'm thinking the next bar is up, I don't expect that bar to come all the way down here. So I think these levels are okay. And also one of these levels corresponds to the midpoint of this bar. So this level should be good. Now, you would need to go down the lower time frames to be more precise in terms of your support, understanding or to determine the exact level your entry will be. But because we're doing this on a monthly time frame, we're going to stick to these levels and just use them as the basis of our projection. And we'll have a go down the time frames just to show you how it runs. But for now, we've answered question 2, which is what is the likely entry? It will be from one of these places. And finally, what is the range? So to determine the range, we need the last down candle, which is this one, okay, this candle right here, in relation to the current price, which will be here. So on the left of it, let's grab a tool. A horizontal line will do. We just plot it right there on the open. And then we also need the up candle. So the candle above this down candle. So let's go all the way to the left. So current price will be between the low and the high, right? So right here we have this up candle right here. Okay, so this high right here. So we're just going to select the open of that candle. So we're not using this one because this one overlaps with that down candle. So we want to make sure that that candle does not overlap. So this will give us the range. So what do we have now? So we have 3 things, I believe. Okay. So we've got the Euro USD. So we see we've got the Euro USD. That's the candle. That's the security. So the first one is we have an up candle. Okay, so very straightforward. It's going to be up, down, or you don't know. It's going to be one of those 3 things. The second thing is we've got our levels. So we've got support. And this will be a range. So this will be from, we're just going to eyeball this, 157.6 79. So let's just see 157, 18 to let's go there, which is 162, 20, 162, 20. Okay, so that's our range. And the final thing we need is our target. So we've got the support, sorry, there, and then we just need our range. So what's our range? So our range is from actually from there. So it's 161.20 to 167, I believe. 20, that's 20, 30. Yeah, 167, 30. So it's a 20. So we've got about 600 pips. So we've got a 600 pip range. You don't need to target everything, just a little. We know potential support zones, and we know it's an up candle. This is all the information we need to determine our bias or our direction for the month. So now that we have just those three bits of information, let's see what happens. So first, let's just go down to the weekly, and you can refine these levels. But what do I notice? These two down candles. So again, you're going to have to utilize a little bit of your experience, understanding price action, how it behaves. So if price is going up, then down bars should protect it, right? That's the basic formula. So if these down bars protect our up bar, then we're looking for support in or around these down bars. So the high, the low, the open, the close, and the midpoint, because these are down bars. Okay, so we've got these bars here. I'm not going to draw lines because we already have these line here. So that's a confluence. We've got the low of the range roughly around here. Price can go lower, but we've got the low here. We've got this line here. That's another confluence. And this is the low for that month. So we shouldn't expect price to come down all the way down there. It can because it's a narrow bar, but it's quite bullish. So let's go down to the daily. Okay, we have a fair value gap right here. So again, a little bit of experience. We've got a down candle here, mark the high, the low, the midpoint, open, close. So again, a little bit of experience. This down candle should provide some level of sensitivity or support, right? So because we have a fair value gap right here, we've got this down candle overlapping that fair value gap. That should provide a little bit stronger support from a daily perspective. We do have this level slightly below it, and then we've got this range. So in or around this area right here, we should find some level of support, some level of reaction that we can then determine some kind of entry. We can also see the behavior of price heading towards that support. So let's see what happens. So okay, we've come close to this down bar, well, to the high. So one level of sensitivity, okay? So you could have gone long there. Your low could have been below that down bar. So this video is not about risk management. It's not really about risk and reward. Really, it's just to determine direction. That's it. Just using the monthly chart. Because once you have that, you can go down your time frames and become more precise. So let's carry on. Okay. Prices come back to this midpoint of this candle. So this down candle is quite sensitive. Again, you could have entered right there on a lower time frame. And we've gone past our high level range. And that was it. So you could have taken a little bit of this move, just a little bit. This down candle would have been your uh, point of origin where you would have placed your stop loss potentially. And this area would have been where you would have got out. So this entire trade was managed from the perspective of the monthly. You wouldn't typically do that. You would go down the time frames and then manage the trade. But what the monthly has done, it's giving those three expected outcomes, right? It's told you exactly what the next bar would be, it's told you what the likely entry would be, and of course, the range. So you now have all of the information you need to take and apply this to other securities, other instruments, and see if you can also determine what the next bar, so not the next 3 bars, not the next 4, not the next 2, just the next monthly bar. That's it. So the next bar you want to determine based on this video, the time of this video is May. And then you just repeat the process at the end of the month for June and then July, so on and so forth. Okay. Yes, some level of experience is still required, but if we just focus on the technicals, then you can just use this video, repeat the process, and that will give you a higher time frame analysis. There is one more thing I want to ask, and that is if you don't want to do this yourself, if you don't want to do this yourself, what I want you to do is actually, this is for everyone, but specifically, if you don't want to do this yourself, is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification icon. The reason I want you to do that is that if I get enough interest, I might just provide a service that provides this level of analysis. So I can, for every instrument that you request, so a personalized monthly research that gives you this, just as 3 bits of information. Are we likely to go up? Again, probability. I'm not saying you should trade it. I am not saying you will make money from it. I am not saying it will happen. This is just research that I can provide. What is the likely range of support? And potentially, what is the optimal level? And what is the range? Because once you have this, you can plan your daily trades, your 4 hourly trades, your hourly trades around these levels. So if you show enough interest by liking, by subscribing, by clicking on the notification icon, then I will create another video related to this video and tell you what the next step is. But I hope this video was useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.